Hey, good evening, everybody. John Henry Soto here. Welcome to JHS Interviews. Really excited today. I have Javier Martinez is going to be on. He's the owner of Latin Groove Dance Academy right here in Bayonne, New Jersey. And we are excited because I'm Puerto Rican and I love salsa and I love music and I love. And as soon as I, started seeing some of Javier's videos on Facebook, on Instagram, and I just said, "Oh man, I would love to talk to him about the whole process and the whole history of that." And he was gracious enough to say yes, and he is here tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our show Javier Martinez. Hey,
Thank
Javier.
you. How are you? Thank you so much for having me tonight. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Yeah, the volume's a little bit low, but I think we're good. I think people can hear you. So just you can just use the projection that we Latinos have. um, so let me ask you right off the bat. Are you originally from? Where are you from originally?
I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, all the way through high school. I graduated high school. I went to college in the States, but I was born and raised in Puerto Rico.
Wow. And
Um,
what when did you come here?
so I play baseball. In Puerto Rico, baseball is a huge sport. So I played baseball my whole life. I played college baseball. I was actually very close to play professionally with the Milwaukee Brewers. That didn't materialize, so I went back to Puerto Rico after college, and there was a opportunity to come and work in the States, and it happened to be in New Jersey. So I ended up here just by coincidence, and I moved from Puerto Rico in '99. So
99.
I have been here over 20 years already. It's
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
unbelievable.
I know. I was like saying somebody was like in 2000, the year 2000. I'm thinking that was just a few, and I'm
Yeah,
thinking, oh wait, that's 20 years ago.
I wish I could delete this year from that one, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wish.
Well, I don't think this year counts. I don't think nobody's gonna be upset with us if we delete this one year.
So
Um,
in theory, I have been only 20. This one doesn't count.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you opened up this school here in Bayonne. I know that there was already a dance school there. I remember it was my office actually that I think might have put you in there. I believe it was Costanza. I'm not really 100% sure, but
So yes, I think the history of that existing studio, it was Evelyn Brown. I think that was a very well known studio in Bayonne. That was before my time here in Bayonne. I believe that actually passed to be Bayonne Professional School. One of the students from Evelyn Brown took over, and I took over in 2017. So that was an existing studio. I changed the business model significantly. I added obviously the Latin dances, which is my forte, but I kept a lot of the dances that we already had. We were offering. I didn't want to start from scratch. We had a clientele. We did not want to stop those services. I added the Latin dances. We have more than 30 classes a week, or we had before we closed. So we have a wide variety of dances. It's not only salsa and bachata. We have tap, jazz, ballet, belly dance. We have hip hop. So it is a wide variety of dances. Of course, I'm focusing on my roots, and I added those, which is my forte.
yeah. I mean, I love the videos that I saw on Instagram. It's so. I mean, salsa dancing is just such a beautiful. It's a language in itself. I mean, dance is a language, right? But
Yep.
when you're dancing and you're performing, how when did you start that? When did you realize you had this? I mean, Puerto Ricans generally have pretty good rhythm generally, but
Yep.
salsa is really an art form. It's not something that you just can just shake your hips and you got it. You have to really work on it. When did you realize that that was something that you really were good at and wanted to pursue?
So I was always exposed to the music. Since I was born in Puerto Rico, and salsa was everything. It was in the late '70s, '80s. So I grew up. I'm the youngest of five. So my oldest brothers and sisters, they listen to music all the time. So I grew up listening to all this music. So I always had the ear and the interest in the music. But I played baseball my whole life. That was my life. So even though I like the music, I didn't get into dancing until later in my life. Um, I started dancing structured when I moved to the States because my brother, who was already living in Baltimore, he went to get a master's degree in classical guitar from Peabody Conservatory, which is the part of the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. He was already in the States and he teaches salsa, and now he's teaching tango. When I moved to the States in '99, I had no family here, so I went to visit him in Baltimore for Thanksgiving. And I was there, I think it was 4 or 5 days. And when I tell you that it was a boot camp, I told him I want to learn how to dance properly. So it was a boot camp from morning to night. All we did was he was teaching me. I started writing notes, and it became an obsession. I started going out like crazy here in New York. This area, there's a lot of clubs. There's a lot of places to go. So it became an obsession. I started going out at least 4 times a week. It was not the question of if I'm going to go out; it's where I'm going to go out. So that part of the social aspect of dancing is extremely important. A lot of people take classes, and if you don't actually go out and execute what you have practiced, um, then you're stuck at that level, right? You have to. It's a process. You have to go through a process, and you're going to make mistakes. You have to overcome that fear of, oh my God, this is overwhelming. You have to get out there, and that's how you are going to progress.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought about that. You take classes, and then obviously you want to go and put that work, put that knowledge to use. It's sort of like acting, and when you're studying as an actor, then you got to go out and audition. You got to get out there in front of things, but people don't. I guess it's one of those things where nerves probably take place, because I think when you're dancing, it's really, it's your body, right? It's what you have that you have to move, and you have to
Yep.
try to figure that out. It's not so much it is knowledge as well, but it's also the body part of it. I think there's a little bit of people that are intimidated. What would you say to someone that's like maybe has never done it but has been always fascinated by it and is interested, or maybe just has a little knowledge? What would you actually recommend?
I would recommend that every single person who is a great dancer today started where that person is starting.
That's true.
No, nobody just woke up and became an expert. That's not how it works. It is a process. You have to get out there and understand that it's a process. You're not going to improve. You're not going to become a great dancer from one day to the other. And that applies not only to dancing, that applies to sports, that applies to a job. You don't take one class in college and you're an expert. That's not how it works. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes consistency. And the more you practice and you go through that process, you're going to start seeing the progress. And it should be fun. It should not be stressful at any point because that defeats the purpose, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
it's just having the mindset that you're trying to do something, and everyone who's out there who you believe is a great dancer at some point started exactly where beginners are.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. Do you do you think that salsa has become more popular since you got here 20 years ago? Is it, or has it kind of like leveled off?
I think there's a new wave of people.
I
So
agree.
that is good. That doesn't that means that it is continuing either growing or at least with the same interest. Again, I've been in the salsa scene for a very long time in this area, so I see a lot of people who have been in the salsa scene for a long time. It's not like I don't know anybody. I still see a lot of people who I have been dancing with for years. However, there's a new wave of people who are learning how to dance. Therefore, the interest is still there.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to travel before in a previous life. I used to travel extensively with through work, and I've been to 28 countries. And every single country I went, there was salsa. It's
Wow.
all over the place. I'm talking about 6 different continents, and it's all over the place. There's salsa congresses all over Europe, South America, Canada, all over the United States. So if you are a traveler, that's a great thing to do. If you're a dancer, find a place. There's salsa everywhere.
Right. Yeah, I mean, growing up, I remember it seemed really big when I was growing up, you know. I mean, obviously I was in a Puerto Rican family, so I have a Puerto Rican culture, and it's just very, but it was like, El Gran Combo and Gilberto Santa Rosa and what what was the other guy's name? Hector Manuel, all these Victor Manuel, and all these guys kind of came out almost at the same time. You know, Tito Nieves and all these guys. It seemed like it was this one period of, I would say, like 15 years, where it was just like one star after the other. Mark Anthony was in there also. Every once in a while, he'll throw out an album. Um, so it was a really fascinating thing for me to come to Bayonne and then see, this happening here in Bayonne, because I was like, oh, this is really cool. How has it been for you to get the word out to Bayonne?
Well, Bayonne is a little bit we have 2 entrances, right? It's either Jersey City or we have Staten Island. So my focus was to grow in Bayonne organically because I believe we have the market to do so. Um, and salsa is not by any means only for Latinos.
Right.
That, like I said before, all over the world, I used to travel salsa places all over the place, and not only finding salsa places, but amazing dancers all over the place. So it's not something that I'm catering only to a culture. It is my culture, and I have the knowledge that I can share. But it's not only for Latinos. It's for anybody who has interest of dancing, and dancing has so many benefits. I talked about the social aspect of going out socially and right, but people take classes for just to break their day, for health reasons, for just to do something, to learn a new skill. There's so many benefits to it. And I think there's a huge potential to grow in Bayonne because I think we have about 63,000 people in Bayonne.
Mhm.
Obviously, people from Jersey City or wherever are always welcome, but I would like to grow that here in Bayonne. And again, it's not only salsa. We have so many other dances that we offer. We're the only studio in Bayonne that offers classes for kids, teens, and adults. And the variety of classes that we offer, you're not going to find it anywhere else in Bayonne.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned the benefits and the social the social benefits of it. And I was going to mention young people, like young kids, and it's such a wonderful way to really sort of expand your mind and kind of grow out and almost realize your body and kind of like come into more of a present time for a lot of young people that are learning to dance. So it's wonderful that you're doing those classes, because you're right. I don't think there's a couple of places that have certain programs, but not necessarily all those, the variety that you're saying.
Right.
um so let's talk a little bit more about the benefits, because I think that's one of the things that people think, oh, well, I don't want to, I'm not going to go dance salsa or whatever. But it might be, like you said, it may be somebody, it could be for health reasons. It also could be for stress. You
Absolutely.
you go to a class and you dance for an hour, you're going to feel very relaxed, and especially the enjoyment of the people that you're around.
So I'm very proud of my school because I have an amazing staff. It's not only me. I can't take all the credit. I have an amazing staff who teach it. They teach other classes as well. But I'm very proud because I create and we make a point to create a very healthy environment. It doesn't matter if you're a kid, a teen, or an adult. We are a little family, and we have fun. There's no stress. You go there, you pay for a service, but we make sure that you are enjoying what you're doing, because otherwise it defeats the purpose of going and taking a class. Once it becomes work, then it's not enjoyable anymore. So
Right.
you're going to learn a new skill, you're going to work on it, you're going to put the effort. It's not about not learning or not putting the effort, but it's part of it has to be enjoying what you're doing.
Right.
And we create an environment to make sure that everybody feels welcome. It doesn't matter if it's your first 10th, 100th class, you're part of the family now. And so we make sure that we provide that for new people and people, existing clients as well.
So let's talk a little bit about the history of it. I don't know how involved you got into like learning a little bit about the history of salsa and in this country and in Puerto Rico or wherever. Cuba, I would say, it's also has some roots in that as well.
Yep.
Um, so when it came to New York or Miami or wherever it actually really, do you have any history on that? Like any you know um just on that element of it, like coming to this country and stuff like that?
Yeah. So everything comes from originally from Africa. All those rhythms comes
Yeah.
from Africa, and then it went to Cuba. Um, Through the different decades, there's different influences of different countries, different instruments that are introduced to an existing style, and then something else is born. So what is salsa today? It's a mix of uh, rumba, song, cha-cha. There's so much history throughout the decades and so much influence. For example, if you take cha-cha, yeah, or you take boogaloo, boogaloo is the American music influence on cha-cha. So it became a little bit more Americanized, but the foundation of that dance is cha-cha-cha. So it's very very similar, and it's danced uh, with the foundation of cha-cha. So in a very long history of music, it's just different instruments being introduced to existing rhythms, and something else is new. For example, you take salsa romantica, which was like in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And that is a different twist to what we call salsa dura, which is old school salsa, right? So, and then you have, like you mentioned, Mark Anthony. So it's more commercial salsa than the music that I grew up with. There's nothing wrong with that type of music. It's just a different feeling to the music. When
Right.
you hear old salsa, the structure of the music and the way it is played, it's a lot heavier than the commercial salsa now.
Right. So if you would say it's something like Hector Lavoy or the Gran Combo, early Gran Combo, right?
Yeah,
And then Mark Anthony and Victor Manuel and all those, they did they a variation of that, but it was just more modernized and I guess more
right.
commercial friendly, I guess. But when you go back to those roots, like early, I guess you would say Gran Combo, I guess for the but going back to like Puerto Rico, you it definitely comes from a lot of different areas, right? Because I mean, what are Puerto Ricans are, we're from Spain, Taino Indians, right, and then African. So amazing rhythms coming together to create these beautiful rhythms.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. So I love the history of things like that. Now merengue, because growing up there was this thing with salsa merengue, and I had the pleasure of meeting with Fido Vargas years ago,
Yeah.
and big um, merengue, a god basically at this point. But the differences are what in your view? I mean, obviously the tempo is a thing, but what is it? Why is it so different but yet kind of the same?
Well, different instruments play. You have the tambora in merengue, which you don't have in salsa.
Really?
Uh,
Oh, I didn't even know this.
no, the tambora. The tambora is a part of the percussion. So you play with one hand, like the bare hand, and you have a little stick on the other side. So you sit on it, and it's like a cylinder, and you play on the side like this, on
Yeah,
the
I've
side.
seen it. I've seen it.
So,
Okay.
so that instrument is very particular to merengue, not even
Wow.
bachata, which is from the Dominican Republic as well. So merengue, that's the instrument that it has to be there for merengue. So the structure of the music, the way you dance it, very simply, you step on every single beat of the music every time. That's your basic step. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're going from right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left,
Oh, wow.
the whole time. So the basic step in salsa, besides the fact that the structure of the music is differently, there's these different instruments, but the basic step is different. It's one, two,
Right.
three, five, six, seven. You don't step on every beat, so it is a little bit different. Well,
Yeah.
actually, a lot different, I would say. Now, I have to say, in salsa, there are steps that you step in every beat of the music as well. But that's not your basic step. The basic step in merengue, you step on everything. It's right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left the whole time.
It's just like you just got go, 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 go.
You know, I think a lot of people are so afraid of dancing, and I have to say this, specifically men. They're afraid of dancing because they feel that, oh my god, I'm gonna look awkward, I'm gonna look funny.
Right.
The dancing, the concept of dancing is extremely simple. But most people don't go through the process of understanding, oh, okay, so I understand that concept. It's just now applying it to my feet. But the actual concept of dancing, if I explain it, which I do in my classes, it's extremely simple. You're stepping on specific rhythms in the music. You have to understand the music. That's why I explain that, because that's everything. That is equivalent to learning how to crawl, right? You
Mm.
can't run if you don't know how to crawl. So once you create a good foundation, then you're dancing, and that is like riding a bicycle. You don't forget how to ride a bicycle, so you have that knowledge that never goes away.
Yeah.
So if you don't go salsa, or if you don't go, I'm talking specifically about salsa now. If you don't go out social dancing and you don't practice what you learn, you might forget specific steps. But the understanding of the music should not be inconsistent. Either you understand it or you don't. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, are you having? I guess there are not probably a lot of men that take classes. Is that right?
So I would say in any school I have taught in before I owned the studio, I have taught in other studios as well. The majority of people are women. So that's I would, across the board. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
Um, However, uh, if you're a great dancer as a guy, it's easy. You go out, you're dancing the whole night.
Yeah.
So it's I think I'm not saying there's not men who like to dance, but I think to start, I think a lot of men would be a little bit more hesitant than a woman. It's like, ah, I'm gonna try. I love music. I'm just gonna go dance.
Right. Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that's, and I think every single person has their own reason why they're maybe a little hesitant, like for me, for instance, I'm short, so, and my wife is really tall, so I can't dance the way like, my wife is like 5'10", so for me to dance, she's got to twirl me and all this stuff. So for me, that would be my, and I'm not shy, obviously. I'm not, I don't really care, but if I was shy, that would probably be my reason for being hesitant. So there
Okay.
may be men out there that have it, but maybe they feel like, oh, maybe I can't move, or maybe I'm too heavy, maybe so I think, it'd be fun to kind of work, even, work with you on this at some point in Bayonne, and maybe we could do something that would actually just bring men for a health reason, for like, men that actually just want to kind of get healthy, and maybe do something like that, and that'll start the momentum of
Yeah,
getting people interested.
absolutely. And it's not only the physical aspect of it; it's the mental aspect of it. There
Yes.
are studies, and I'm not going to claim by any means that I know all the results, but there are studies that show that dancing helps with your mental health. That's
That
proven.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
so it's not only the physical aspect. You don't have to. Well, I want to lose weight. I'm going to start dancing. It's just
The
the
mindset.
mental aspect of it. It's great. Now, I hope to see you soon at the studio so I can help you overcome that fear, because that fear of, well, I'm sure I can't turn, it's all about spacing. If you have the right spacing dancing, turning, even though somebody's taller than you, it is not a problem. But you have to maintain the proper spacing, make sure you're not creating additional spacing to turn around the head, which is where you're supposed to turn.
Really?
So, yeah, absolutely. So I'm
Okay.
gonna
I never even attempted just because.
exactly.
Yeah.
So people have this misconception like, oh well, I'm short, I'm heavy, I'm too tall. None of that. I'm gonna help you overcome that fear. So I hope to see you soon
Okay.
at this.
Yeah, okay. Well, definitely. It's not even really a fear. It was more of a, I didn't want to make anyone else feel uncomfortable for me. Like sometimes people will feel uncomfortable themselves. For me, I'm not uncomfortable at all. I married a really tall woman, on
There you go.
purpose. You know what I mean? I needed somebody to get the peanut butter from the top shelf.
That's right.
So I needed to go there. So for me, it's cool. But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take you up on that. I'm actually gonna, because I'm interested to know that spacing thing that you just mentioned about. So
Yep.
talk a little bit about that because that's interesting. You have two dancers. Let's just say they're at the same height. Um, when you're putting two dancers together, because I'm assuming you choreograph all these things as well.
Yep.
So when you're putting two dancers together, that is not you, what is it that you're looking for in their compatibility?
So there are certain elements that are always present in your dancing. It doesn't matter. It's the foundation of your dancing. So the timing. If you learn steps, but you're off time, then you're off time. So you mentioned something at the very beginning of the interview, which I was very glad that you mentioned, and you said that dancing is a language, and it is absolutely a language. If I mentioned before, I used to travel extensively, and sometimes I went to countries that I didn't necessarily speak their language, but all I had to do was ask somebody to dance, just extend my arm, which is that's
The
universal.
universal.
That means that you do you want to dance, right? And without speaking a word, I am communicating with somebody I don't know, and because we understand the structure of the music, we are communicating as a language for 4 minutes. That's it.
I love it.
We understand the structure of the music. When you are speaking a language, you both know that language, so you can communicate. It's exactly the same thing with dancing. That's why I stress over and over understanding the structure of the music. Once you understand that, learning new steps and material is extremely easy. That's why so many people are scared of dancing or learning how to dance, but the concept of dancing is extremely simple.
So it's actually the structure really that people have to really understand, and then within that structure, there's all the steps, right, and all the
Correct.
movements and all that. So the foundation is really that structure.
Absolutely. So there's different ways of dancing salsa. It's called dancing on two, or dancing on one, or dancing on two. That what that means, very simply, without going into too many details, that means that either you're gonna break on the first beat of the music or the second beat of the music. That dictates what instrument you're going to be dancing on. I dance to the conga, which is an accent in the music. If you dance on one, you're dancing to the cowbell, which is not an instrument that is there the whole song. When the lead singer is singing, the bongo player is playing the bongos. When the chorus starts, the same guy puts the bongos down and he starts playing the cowbell. So it's an instrument that is not even there. So it is not an accent in the music. So I teach dancing on two, which is dancing to the conga. So the feeling is much heavier because you're dancing to an accent in the music.
Yeah.
Without going into too many details.
Yeah, no, I love it. So are there still, I mean, not now obviously because of the current situation, which I'm going to ask you about in a little bit, but are there still clubs like just for dancing, like the Copa and places like that in New York City? I mean, even in Jersey, in New Jersey somewhere.
Yeah, so New York is it's all over the place.
Really,
However, yeah, there's clubs all over the place. I do go to specific places which are called socials, and it's a party at a studio, at a dance studio, literally a dance studio. So it's a
oh,
different environment. There's no usually they don't sell alcohol and the lights are on, so it's not a club. So you go to dance.
you go to dance.
That's the main reason. Okay. So I have been having socials in Bayonne to introduce that concept because I think that concept is probably new to a lot of people. So my students who have been in the salsa scene before, they know what it is. So it's for me, it's giving my students an opportunity to practice what they have learned in a very safe environment. They know
Right,
everybody. There's no stress. There's no concern that I'm gonna mess it up. So it's a very relaxing environment. So it's yet an opportunity for them to have fun, but also practice what they have learned in class.
right. Oh, that's such a great idea. I never heard of those either. That is a wonderful idea.
I think it's a new concept. That's why I'm trying to introduce it here in Bayonne and make it. It's been growing steadily, and I was actually going to have the 30-year anniversary social in March, but we had unfortunately we had to close the studio.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. How are you doing? Are you doing virtual classes? Is that how it's working right now?
Yeah,
And
we have been doing virtual since late March. Immediately after we closed, we had the platform. We started using Zoom. Then we started using MindBody, which is the system that I use. So we have a combination of Zoom and the platform that I use. For example, tab classes. The sound Zoom is a little bit better, so we are using Zoom for those classes. But we have been teaching virtually since late March.
wow. And from the studio or from people from the teachers' homes?
So I think there's one of my instructors. She does it from the studio because it's a different type of dance. So lyrical, for example, has requires a little bit more space. So she feels more and more comfortable. We're using the space to have the classes, but we're not teaching. I'm teaching from here, and I think most of their my instructors are teaching from their own houses.
Okay. Do you have a time frame at all of like when you would open?
Well, I'm actually waiting for the governor to give
Yeah.
some indication of when we can open. I think there's a lot of businesses that have had that guidelines. Restaurants, bars, unfortunately, gyms and dance studios. There's nothing yet. I believe that gyms can do one-on-ones starting July 2nd. So that leads me to believe that we are moving towards a opening date
Yeah.
sooner than. So I'm hoping that between now and probably the end of the month we have a little bit more information, but
Yeah.
unfortunately we don't have anything yet.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
so
I'm preparing myself to be ready to open. I don't want to be, caught flat-footed when we are ready to go. I want to make sure that we're prepared to open again.
yeah, absolutely. And when that time comes, make sure you let me know so maybe I can go. We can do like something live on the I Love Bayonne page and just get some information out there,
Yeah, absolutely.
um, for sure. So, tell me a little bit about your journey. With salsa. Um, was it something you said you went to your brother's and you fell in love with it there? What was the reason that suddenly that became such a passion when you had baseball, which I'm assuming you still have baseball as a passion, but what propelled you to just kind of like go for that for dance, and what was it that turned on? Was it something that you wanted to communicate, or
Well, like I mentioned before, I was always exposed to the music, and always loved the music. It's such a powerful dance, and I grew up in the 70s and 80s in Puerto Rico, so that's all I heard was salsa. So that it was always a huge part of my life, and I danced like a lot of Latinos dance. You know, you learn at home. It's not
Mhm.
structured, but you have that feeling of the music. But I once my brother started teaching, he was dancing on too, and I knew there was something different about the style that he was dancing, which was different to mine. And to be sincere, at the beginning, even though I understood the music, because I was so used to interpreting the music in a way, when I tried to learn how to dance his style, it was a little bit of a struggle because I already had a mindset of how I was interpreting the music. But I always had the interest. Once I moved to this area, New York is huge on salsa. So that's something that I wanted to learn. And I said, you know what? I'm here. I want to learn how to dance structured. So once I learned, there was so many places to go that I used to go all the time. I used to go out all the time, and now I am in the environment. I love it. There's hundreds of people dancing, and it just became an obsession. And I was enjoying it so much that I would go from one party to another the same day. So it became such an obsession.
Yeah.
So and after I started doing it, 20 years later, I still love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, was there a time when actually first I wanted to ask you like do you go to live shows? Like have you seen live performances?
Uh, Dancing
Yeah,
or
like I don't know, like seeing like El Gran Combo, the current
yeah,
incarnation, or Tito Puente in his high, and
yeah.
before, in the 80s or something when he was all over the place.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I as much as I love the music, going to watch a salsa band play is torture because I can't dance. I cannot sit down and listen to this music that I want to get up and start dancing. So if you go to a place that you cannot dance, it's torture.
Right.
I actually have seen El Gran Combo in here in Jersey. I recently saw Roberto Roena in Canada. I've been to many salsa congresses in Puerto Rico. So there's live bands from Puerto Rico, which you don't usually see in other places like Bobby Valentin, Willie Rosario, Sonora Ponceña. So all these bands that I grew up listening to, watching them live, it's amazing.
Wow. So yeah, for me, I one of the memories that I have was I was marching in the Puerto Rican Day Parade. This was a long time ago, and I got in through it was through my church, and we were going to be in the actual parade. So a couple of days before the event, they invited us to this. It was like a down in South Street Seaport, and it was a
Yep.
big boat there, and it was a big party. So
Yeah.
I'm going up this ship, and I hear this amazing salsa over. I'm like, man, what is it? And I'm trying to, and I was with this friend of mine, and I look over, and over the railing of the actual ship, and I see on the stage, I'm literally right there on the stage, is Tito Puente, Seria Cruz, and Mark Anthony, and they're at the height of everything going. I mean, it was, and then this girl was like pulling me, come on, and I was like, wait, get off. I was like, look what's happening. I love live music, so I do absorb that, but I totally understand what you're saying because you can't. Although some places, like if you go to the Copa, the Copa is or the old Copa, maybe not the new one. I don't know what the new one's like, but I remember the old one just had a big space
Mhm.
and there was just a lot of dancing. So whoever's on stage, you can just always just dance. So,
Yep.
but yeah, sitting down like at Madison Square Garden and seeing a salsa show, it's got to be
Torture.
torture for a.
It's torture. It's torture. Yeah.
That is so funny. I never in a million years would have thought of that, but that is hilarious. It makes sense too. What do you want to bring, or what do you want to tell the residents of Bayonne or just Jersey City or anybody that's listening? What do you want to bring to town and to your school that maybe no other place can actually offer, without obviously getting too mean, but
Yeah, so I think that what we offer, there's no other place in nearby that offers what we offer. And what I mean by that is we offer classes for every single age group. We start at 3.
Wow.
We go from 3 to 150. If you're 150 and you can move, we'll teach you how to dance.
Cool.
So we
So I
start
got
at.
time.
You have time. You have
Yeah.
time. So we offer that variety of group of ages, right? We are the only studio in Bayonne that offers classes for kids, teens, and adults. Also, the variety. You can go to a salsa school and it's only salsa. You don't have tap, jazz, ballet, belly dancing. You don't have hip hop. You don't have anything. So the variety of classes that we offer in our studio, you're not gonna find that anywhere around
Mm,
here. Our instructors are extremely talented, all of them.
yeah.
So it's not only offering classes, it's offering quality classes. Um, the environment that we create, I have taught in other places, I have been to other places, and the environment that we create is extremely friendly. It's healthy. It's not competitive. So we people are paying us for a service, and we are making sure that you're getting your money's worth, and we want you to feel like you want to come back because you're enjoying it, because you're learning, because it's a great experience, and because you want to do it again. So we offer that, and our pricing. I think our pricing it's unbeatable. If you look at our prices and compared to other studios in the area, again, you're not going to find any studio that offer what we offer.
That's great. Let's talk about being an entrepreneur because that's also another element of your life, right? That you have to kind of deal with, with whether whatever's going on around you. How has that process been for you? Like when you decided to actually open up the studio and become an entrepreneur, like actually now this is your baby, so everything that you do now, it's like you have to, you work 7 days a week, it's you're always thinking about it, marketing and all that stuff. How has that affected you, being an entrepreneur?
Well, it's been hectic. I can tell you that. I Until recently, I work full time in the city, so I'm actually a CPA. So I work for an insurance company. I was working full time. I was running the business, and I coach baseball. So
Oh my
uh,
god.
it was. I have 2 kids. They play not always on the same team. So sometimes it was 2 set of practices and 2 set of games, and I was there. I think it's challenging, but if you are organized and you have a clear goal, then it's doable. So sometimes I need help. I can't claim that I can do it on my own at the studio. Like I mentioned before, I have an amazing staff, and sometimes I have to rely on them, and I trust them because they have earned my trust. So I have that help, and I need it because it's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a great experience being an entrepreneur and having your own business. Um, Frustrating sometimes, like anything else, but I wouldn't change it. It's what I'm trying to achieve. I think it's great. We are providing a service to Bayonne.
Mhm.
And again, we're not targeting any specific race, any specific culture, any specific age group. We have something for everyone.
Yeah.
And I do believe that we're still growing. We were getting tremendous momentum before COVID-19, so we're kind of had to stop that growth. But I think the studio has been growing consistently. I think a lot of people know more about us than before. Um, if you think about it, we have been in business for only 3 years. I talk to a lot of people still, and we market Facebook. We have used other avenues to market, but still, I talk to people. It's like, oh, I didn't even know you guys were there.
Mm.
So, and we are very visible on Broadway. So
Broadway, yeah.
we are very visible, but still, there's more that can be done, and we're going to continue once we can open. We want to start creating the momentum that we were gaining, and not lose it. One of the reasons why we wanted to have the virtual classes is because we didn't want to lose that momentum. We have a core group of students that they have been supporting us. We didn't want to stop completely. So even though the dynamic is a little bit different, we're still, they're still supporting us, and we're still providing the service the best we can until we can actually be at the studio.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you said two things that were, organized, I think is a really big factor. You really can do a lot more. People can do a lot more than they think they can when they're organized. And then of course you do need that help at some point, because sometimes it gets a little bit, it's not even that it can't be done, but it's that you want to provide better service, and in order to do that you need help, so this way you're not getting so definitely organize is a key factor. Also, when you're an entrepreneur with a purpose, you have a really good purpose of what you're doing. So that alone drives a person to kind of want to just continue. And because being an entrepreneur is just like, you're working, what is it, you're working they say you work 100 hours, a week, so you don't have to work 40 hours for somebody else or something like that. It's whatever the quote is, but it's true. You end up really, and sometimes you have to put in the 40 hours and your 100. It's like to get it really done. So that's great that the studio is still going and you have good clients and stuff. um do you get involved with any of the, not that it's happening this summer, but we have a lot of events, outside events, and there's always like some kind of can't even think of their names now, but there's always these, yeah, fairs and all these events that we have in town. Do you get involved in those?
Yeah, we participate. We did the fair. I think the fall fair last year. In October. We always do right in front of our studio. They always close that section of Broadway. I have danced several times on stage with my kids, with my partner. So we try to get involved as much as possible, and not only. Salsa wise. We represented on Juneteenth. My group of Step. We performed at the flag raising on June 19th, which is a very important date
Hmm.
for the Black community. So we were present there. We try to get involved as much as possible, and the more we grow, the more we get invitations, the more we're going to be out there. Also, something that part of the momentum that we were creating, I partnered with through the Board of Education. We were teaching in the public school system as part of after school programs. We were going to two different schools. It just started the program, so we want to grow that as well. We were going to the school and provide dance classes for kids who they need to wait for their parents to be picked up from school, so they were learning a new skill while they were waiting. So we started that early this year. Unfortunately, we were not able to finish that program, but there's a huge potential for growth there because we have 12 schools in Bayonne, and we're
Yeah.
only covering two right now because we just started with that program. But there's a huge potential for growth, not only for that program, but exposure to the studio. If they enjoy the classes, then we have a wide variety of classes that they can take at the studio.
Yeah, and I love when the public schools takes that initiative and really brings in things like this, because kids waiting around for an hour waiting for their parents to come, for them to do something like this, I think it's totally amazing and just so beneficial for them. I love that. So there's a lot of speculation about things happening, opening up, and whenever things are going to open up. Are you planning on having like some big opening up party on that day, or you're just gonna go right back to to like business as usual? I know some people are having I don't know, there's a name for it. I don't know,
Like a reopening.
like a reopening or like, yeah, we're back kind of
Well,
a deal or something.
so we need to make sure that we're following the guidelines, and
Right.
safety is first. I can't, you know, this is again a process. A lot of people are scared, which with reason. But we are going to make sure that once we're ready to reopen, that we're following guidelines. We're going to probably open with a limited schedule. We can open 30 classes at once because it's going to take a while for people to feel comfortable. We
Sure.
want to space out our classes a little bit longer. Right now, classes start like one after the other. We want to probably adjust the schedule to have 15 minutes in between, so one group can leave, the other one can come in. We can clean between classes to make sure that we have a little bit more social distancing. There are some of our most of our dances are not partners. It's not a partner dance. Therefore, there's less touching, so you can be social distancing. Salsa is a different story. You're holding hands with your partner. You're closer. So we need to determine what makes sense when we're going to open, how we're going to schedule those classes to make sure that we are keeping everybody safe, including our instructors, and making sure that people feel comfortable with the fact that, okay, so we are going out and doing certain activities, but it's clean, it's being sanitized, there's not a lot of people. So we have to, take it slowly and make sure that we are following those guidelines.
Yeah. So we're nearing an hour, which I can't believe an hour, almost an hour went by already. Um, what we've now that somebody's been listening to the show, they kind of like have a better idea of you, and I think people are going to actually appreciate all the things that you're saying, because I think there's a safety there that I know you're concerned with, like making sure people feel safe and feel acknowledged and not stressed out like we mentioned. What would you say to somebody listening right now and it's just out there and thinking like, maybe I should they check your email, send you an email, go to your website, watch some videos, or call you, or
So
what should they do?
we have many ways to communicate. We have a lot of information on our website. You can send us an email through the website. You can check our Facebook or Instagram. You can follow me at JM Salcero 3. That's my personal. So there's many ways to communicate with us. Don't call the studio now because we're closed. But sending an email probably is the easiest way for us to get back to you. We're checking emails all the time. Uh, what I would like to say is don't be scared of dancing. Dancing is like anything else, any skill that you want to learn. It takes time. It's not a sprint. It's a journey. You're
Mm,
not going to learn how to dance in 2 days. You're not going to become a professional athlete in 2 days. You're not going to become a lawyer in 2 days. So it is a process. You have to go with that mindset that you have to enjoy the journey. If your expectations is that you're going to learn how to dance in 2 days, it's unrealistic. But enjoy the process,
right.
because if you put the effort and you're consistent, we're gonna make you dance. We're very confident of that.
And you mentioned real briefly. You mentioned your partner, your dance partner. Do you have only one dance partner, or do you have other people that you partner with?
No, I dance with my, actually she's my ballet instructor as well, and she started taking classes with me, and she learns extremely quickly. She has extensive ballet background, which obviously any background, dance background that you have, it translates into learning something, a different genre, a lot easier than if you're a
Right.
brand new dancer. So we have been dancing for probably about 2 years now.
Okay.
So she's my only partner right now.
Cool, cool. So, Javier, I want to thank you so much for being on. This has been a pleasure. I definitely feel like your studio is really open for to really help people understand the importance of that language for so many benefits, like what you mentioned and stuff. I mean, I think it's really an important thing to for people to listen, to hear you, and to hear about the opportunities that are right there down. Some people might be living right around the corner watching, and they're like, I pass by that place all the time, and now they know they have a face to put with the studio, and they feel, I'm sure they feel more confident. So I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I hope you come back again when we're kind of opening up, and have you come back again.
You let me know, and I'll be there. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I can't believe an hour already went by, but I would love to come back and spend some more time with you, and any other questions that you might have. I'll be more than happy to share my thoughts. And again, thank you so much for having me again.
It's my pleasure, Javier. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank
All
you.
right, have a good night.
Bye bye.
All right. So that was really great. And, he said a few things that I really feel are so important for us to really, and it's enjoy the process. That I think translates to really so many things in life that people just take for granted. It's like everything that you want to accomplish in your life, there's a process to it. And if you're actually just dreading the process, you're not enjoying the journey, and the journey is just going to become harder and harder, and the chances are you're not going to get there. So this is a wonderful statement for just enjoy the process. And it's like that with dance. So check him out, Javier Martinez, for check out his studio, Latin Grooves Dance Academy. And all the information for this will be in the description below. The website will be there. All the contact information will be there. If you have any questions, of course, you can always email me at johnhenrysoto@gmail.com, and I will send you any information based on this show if you can't find it anywhere on the YouTube channel. All right, folks, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. If you like this show, please subscribe, share, share the thing, and hit the little bell so it'll be, remind you anytime we're going live. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And as always, peace.